We got to air it out. Let's air it out. So we got to air it out. Let's air it out. So
how do you say that? Air it out. Air it out.
Air it out.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Air It Out podcast. I am your host, Avery Collins, joined by, you can see one's a Raven fan, and the other one is also a Ravens fan. We're not going to get into too much of that today, but say what's up to Deontay and Coach Deontay. Say what's up to the people. Thank you for joining us.
How y'all doing? I was muted. Oh my.
Yeah, man.
How y'all living? How you feeling? What we doing? What we talking about?
Feeling good, man. We got some stuff to talk about. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about them things as well. All right, Coach. What is up? How are you, sir?
I've been better, but we get to talk about football today. The draft is next week. It's all good, and I got tickets to a pre-draft Eagles event. Why? Gotta do something nice for the fiance, It's all good. But I wish it was the Ravens event. Still a little upset about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's lying. He is absolutely ecstatic that is an Eagles event. He is an Eagles fan. Don't let anything else fool you.
He got those tickets behind us. I need our banner behind us too. Like
he got those tickets for himself. He got those tickets for himself, ladies and gentlemen. He didn't get those for anyone else but himself. Okay, just want to put that out there because he's an Eagles fan. So, Coach, you've had some turmoil in the past week, so we're just grateful that you are here with us. Thank you for jumping on and taking time out of your day to do so. So, shout out to you. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we got some stuff to talk about. It's the off season, right? Not a lot going on, no games going on, but you got the draft next week, as Coach alluded to. There have been trades that have gone on. There's still people in free agency that are getting picked up. All types of stuff. But the first thing we need to talk about is something that we talked about in our last podcast. We actually did a small little ranking of top 5 wide receivers, and Deontay was absolutely adamant about this guy being in the top 5. So I want to give him the first comment here. Deebo Samuel has requested a trade from the 49ers. He wants out. He's done. He hasn't stated where he wants to go or anything like that, but he has stated he does no longer want to be with that franchise. Reports are coming out that he does not want to be a hybrid anymore. He does not want to play receiver/running back. He wants to be a receiver and a bona fide receiver in the NFL. So, Deontay, what are your thoughts? What is your take on Deebo wanting to leave? As you stated before in our previous podcast, you believe that the best fit for him right now is San Francisco or a team like San Francisco that knows how to use him in multiple ways. What are your thoughts on him wanting to leave the San Francisco 49ers?
I don't like it. I don't like it in many ways. So I don't like the way players are handling their trade situations these days. Like the whole deleting people from your Twitter bio and all that. That's corny high school girl stuff. I don't like it. But if you do, if he does have a reason to want to be traded, for real has a problem with the front office or the coaching staff or just how they're going to use them, or what I really think is pay. I think this is very much like a Le'Veon situation where he feels he should be paid as a top running back. As a top receiver, but also get something for his running back for how he adds to the team as a running back. And I don't think they're willing to do that. And so if that's the case and they want to keep using him as a running back, then yeah, get out of there. But
Darren, you would love it. Stop it.
I'm so sick of this. I'm never going to green ever again in my life. Never will it happen.
There is a part of me that wants Deebo out of there so that he can be used as a bona fide number one receiver as he is, so that people can start looking at him as a receiver, as the receiver that he is, because like I said, Deebo is Deebo. And I know this wasn't the question, but if he could get traded anywhere, I would love to see him go to the Packers, because he's what Randall Cobb was for a long time, just a completely different kind of body, kind of man. So if Deebo, like I said, if Deebo has legit reason to want out of there, then I'm fine with it. Don't like the way they go about it, the social media and stuff, don't like it. But if he has a legit reason to want out of there, then fine, that's his business. There are many teams out here that can use him. And other than that, if it's about money, y'all need to pay Deebo. But reports are that they're saying that the money he wants, they'll give him. And he just seems to want out of there. So I'm sure the man has a reason. Unless he just want to go to Miami or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting to see. But I'm definitely wondering what the issue is. I mean, I think it is a Le'Veon situation where he's like, I add more than just receiving, I add rushing as well. I mean, I led the team in rushing touchdowns last year. So yeah, I mean, I think honestly, in my opinion, it should be some compensation there, and I'll talk about that later. Coach, what are your thoughts? Deebo Samuel, he wants to dip. He's done. What do the 49ers do, and what are your thoughts on him, wanting to be out of there?
So I'm going to make mine a little bit more short and sweet. I do agree a bit with what Deontay said when it comes to there got to be a reason why he wants out. You don't, after all this time, you are known as a feature guy, whether it's a basically wide receiver or running back, and you know you're going to get your touches. You know they're willing to pay you. But if you just still want out, there's something else that's going on. And that doesn't get out enough. That doesn't get talked about enough when it comes to these player contracts. Because talked about the player just doesn't want to sign or the player just wants out. That's not always the case. And with Deebo, you've been hearing these rumors for a while now. And he hasn't said much, hasn't done too much about it. But now he comes out and says, I want the trade. So something's going on where the organization didn't comfort him or make him feel like, you know what, we want you here and this is what we want. And they were on the same page. I don't think they're on the same page. And I think that's why he really might leave. But if he does leave, I got 3 teams that will do really well with Deebo. And in this order of how well, I'm thinking 1 would be the Packers. Yes, he does remind me a bit of Randall Cobb, but he's more of a number 1 type of Randall Cobb, not just the good number 3 slot guy. No, you can put Deebo anywhere. He will dominate, especially with Aaron Rodgers. Number 2, and just hear me out, people. Deebo to the Pats. Deebo to the Pats, allowing Mac Jones to have a number 1 receiver. And they already have a plethora of good number 2 and 3 receivers. A great running game that they've always had. And that defense, is going to be there every single year in, year out. That will be a great setup for him, especially with a coach like Bill Belichick. And last but not least, see, I really want to say Baltimore. I do, because the simple fact we need number 1, but I think DK Metcalf would be better for us. I can't believe I'm about to say this. I think he might really go to Miami. I really think he will. And here's why. They have a year to be able to pay him. They already have Tyreek Hill under contract. Jalen Waddle is under contract as a rookie deal. Mike Gesicki can leave. If they have 3 of the top wideouts in Deebo, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle, the speed and dynamics between those 3 is enough for Tua to do whatever he needs to do. If he can't do it with that, I don't know what to tell you. But
okay, all right. Well, real quick to this comment, shout out to everybody in the comments: Chris, Rashawn, CEO Jerome Jones. I mean, so to this comment, not bad, but it's not like they didn't have Goodness
Allen
gracious. Thank you. Allen Robinson last year. Now Allen Robinson isn't a, he's no Deebo Samuel, but I mean he's not like, he ain't no slouch. Allen Robinson is nice. Okay. So I don't know if that's going to be the case. Deebo's coach is in Miami now. I mean, that may play a factor. I mean, for me, I think, I still think, that he should stay in San Fran. I think that the issue, like if he wants to be just a receiver, play him like that. If it's about the money situation where it's just like, well, if I'm going to be doing these things, pay me. I think it should be no issue to be like, all right, $500,000 for every rushing touchdown, right? Like incentives, right? Like I mean, that should be something like that. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna, because you're talking about potentially shortening his career as a wide receiver because you want him to be a running back out the backfield because running backs take a different type of punishment. And so that's just my personal opinion as far as teams. I mean, the Packers, obviously, yeah, without question. I don't think he needs to be a number one. He is a number one, but I don't think he needs to be a number one. I don't think he's that diva type of player that's like, I need to be number one. So I could see another team being the Raiders. I think the Raiders would be a good fit for him. They've got a running game. They already got a number one receiver there. The defense looks to be potentially getting better, and different things like that. And then outside of the Patriots, I could see the Bills. I think the Bills would be another good team that he could land on. Right, Stephon Diggs there. I think their running game is a decent running game by committee. Josh Allen is progressing. And they've got a winning team right now. They're ready and built to win right now. So I could see that being a case as well. Nagy was a major part in A-Rob's progression. He's gone now, so that could have no bearing on that decision. Very true. Very, very true, Chris. Very, very accurate statement. But yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. Deontay, I saw your hand.
Well, what I was gonna speak to was you saying the incentive thing. I don't think a guy like Deebo should take an incentive deal because I know it depends highly on how the deal is formulated, which is like there's like 2 million wrapped up in incentives, but then the rest is highly guaranteed and highly front based. Like, so if it's something like that, I feel you. But like if they're trying to make it so that like a high percentage of his yearly salary is in incentives and it's running back based, they could screw him.
Oh
So
no.
I'm saying if it's like that, don't.
Yeah.
But like I said, the first time, if it's like 1-2 million, just another somewhere like 5 million, somewhere in there, just to add on top of the 20, 30, whatever the numbers are that he gonna get already.
Absolutely.
I think he should do it.
Absolutely. I think it should be that, and that's what I mean. I think that he's worth anywhere from 18 to 28 million. And I say that based on what we're seeing receivers get. We're seeing Christian Kirk get $20 million a year. We're seeing Devontae Adams get $25 million a year. Deebo he's obviously better than Christian Kirk.
I think to San Fran, Deebo is worth the entire salary cap.
Absolutely.
They don't go anywhere as near where they had the success last season without him.
Absolutely. What I'm saying is I'm just talking about the market. The receiver market right now is anywhere between 18 to $28 million a year. I think he could land in that $23, $25 million a year. And then the incentives on top of that. That's what I mean. Like, okay, Ian will throw in $500,000 every rushing touchdown, such and such, and if you go over 1,000 yards rushing, we'll give you another mil, something like that. Nothing crazy, but that hampers them cap wise, but enough to be like, all right, well, all right, I can take $500,000. Like $500,000 ain't nothing to sneeze at. So, Coach, I saw your hand as well.
Real quick, I know we was giving names of different places you could possibly go. If he's not going to go for just being the number one, the Titans people. They already tried to have Julio come in and be that second guy, and they've been looking for a second guy after Corey Davis left. Why not Deebo? Deebo fits their style of play. He's an aggressive, physical runner after the catch. He can do all the in-between short routes. You have AJ Brown on the other side getting double coverage. It's going to be a nightmare, especially with a healthy Derrick Henry there. I like it.
I wouldn't be mad at it.
Am I the only one who doesn't believe in the number one receiver anymore?
No, and that's why I said I don't think he's even that type of guy to be like, oh, I got to be a number one receiver. But just because the way the NFL is, like I'm seeing number 3 wide receivers get close to 1,000 yards now, like consistently. I'm not even talking about like consistently getting 5 catches, 800 yards, 60 to 70 like targets. Like that's
I think what we're seeing with all these receivers, because like there's been a lot of receivers. I want out. I want to trade. I want this. I want that recently. And I think teams are giving them what they want because teams are starting to understand that number one receivers don't win. Receiving cores win. Number ones don't. Aaron and Devontae don't win. They don't. Like teams, AB did not win in Pittsburgh. Like he didn't. Like they get to the playoffs. They don't win.
Yeah, I mean, and the evidence is that is the Chiefs. They're number one. They were like, yeah, all right, peace.
Yeah, bye.
Because it's a core.
One grade A example, the Rams. They had Robert Woods. They had Cooper Kupp. They still went and got OBJ.
Exactly.
They still had Matt Jefferson. Like you have to have a full collection of receivers.
Yeah, number one is don't win.
And a competent quarterback. That's the other thing. Somebody who's not dependent on a number one. And that's why I like some of the top quarterbacks in the league. They're not dependent on a number one, a Tom Brady, and Aaron Rodgers, a Matt Ryan, a Mac Jones, like these are guys that are like, I'll play with what you put out there and be successful with them. You know, Deshaun Watson, like these guys are like
Derek Carr been making it work for years, man.
Derek Carr, right? You know, so like those are guys that I like to see. And again, those are guys that kind of separate themselves when it comes to the upper echelon of quarterback, because we see that week in and week out, it doesn't matter who's out there with them, they typically perform. So yeah, that's good stuff. Now my Deontay, you look like you said about to say something.
Were you about to say something on topic, or were you about to switch topic?
I was about to switch topics.
All right. Well, I was gonna ask you a question.
Okay. Because
I brought up AJ Brown. And I was watching the Pat McAfee show earlier, and they read a report that a anonymous NFL exec or something like that was talking about the chances of them trading AJ Brown. And he said something along the lines of AJ Brown is the only playmaker on that team. And I want to know how y'all feel about that, because what he said was Derrick Henry needs a lot to be successful, which I agree with, but we're not talking about him. I do think A.J. Brown is a guy that's just give him the ball, let him do what he do. I think he's one of those guys, which to me is what a playmaker is. Derrick Henry he's a big splash player, but 90% of the game he's not going to do anything. That's just what I think, honestly. A.J. Brown he's liable to hit at any second.
So I think it depends on what you define as playmaking, right? So if you're defining playmaking as somebody who, again, catch the ball, go 70 yards, who can take a sweep and go 70 yards, who can something like that, then absolutely, I think A.J. Brown is the biggest playmaker on that team. I'm not sure if I would say only, and here's why. I don't necessarily define just those things as playmaking. I also look at, especially because I look at it positionally, and I don't look at it holistically like, oh, I look at it positionally. Are you making plays at your position? Derrick Henry's pass blocking is top tier, and the fact that he refuses to lose yards. Like Derrick Henry does not naturally lose yards. Like a lot of the time, let's remember he's 6'2". Sometimes all he has to do is gain a yard of ground, fall down, and he's got 4 yards. He does that 3 times, we're talking first down. Like that stuff like that to me, and wearing a defense down, getting 2 yards here, 3 yards here, 7 yards here, 4 yards here, 7 yards here, and then popping for 70. Stuff like that to me is what I like. You know what? I guess I would say he's a game changer more than a playmaker. Like Derrick Henry changes the game. When he's in there, you know you got a game plan for Derrick Henry. But if we're talking about playmaker, then I guess if again, depending on how you define it, then I can see why somebody would say the only playmaker is AJ Brown. Coach, what are your thoughts?
Let's cut this now. They're both playmakers, straight up. They are both playmakers. And if we're talking playmakers for short yardage, we know what Derrick Henry can do. Fourth and one. We know what Derrick Henry can do when it comes to, he's getting the ball, he'll still run you over.
Not true.
Not always, but listen, 70% of the time we're looking at Derrick Henry running people over.
No, we're not.
He's not a running over back. He's a I'm bigger than you back. But he doesn't lower his shoulder.
4th and 1, and Derrick Henry has to run through the power. He's not getting shoulders.
Run someone over. That is dominance. That is using what God gave you to do what you got to do, and he does it on a daily basis. That's why he hasn't consistently. The last 2 years, 2,000 yards, was on pace for over 2,000 again to begin the year.
I understand what you're saying to his production.
Runs in that span.
I understand what you're saying in terms of his production. I'm arguing the words that you used as in he runs people over. He doesn't. And then you said short yardage. Derrick Henry's not the back. You give him the ball 4th and 1, he's not going to get the first down. Derrick Henry runs way too high. If you stack the box against him and hit him in the backfield, he's useless.
I mean,
he's useless. Derrick Henry's a monster if he gets past the first wave of defense. If he gets past the lineman and has a one-on-one with a linebacker, he can make them miss. And then if he gets to the DBs, it's a wrap. So I understand he is a major threat. But if you can get to him on the line of scrimmage, you can get to him. And that's why I don't fear Derrick Henry. Like Avery, you said that like teams have the game plan to stop Derrick Henry. I don't necessarily agree. I think you just run a 4-3, keep 2 safeties high. You can stop Derrick Henry, read your keys, stay honest. Shoot the gaps, run a 4-3.
I mean, we've seen teams try to do that, and
I mean, obviously you have to have a dog at defensive tackle to force a double team so that you can shoot the back in the backfield. Because where you said Derrick Henry wears defenses down, I think their O-line wears defenses down. Because I will be honest, the only players on the field who can outright stop Derrick Henry are the defensive linemen. And if they win, Derrick is useless.
I mean,
if the D linemen win, Derrick is useless. If the O linemen win and Derrick gets past the first line of defense, he is a monster. I will give you that. He's a monster. I just have a little bias because I think he's too big to be useless on the goal line.
The reason I don't fully agree is just because I've seen Derrick Henry stiff arm defensive linemen to the ground, and I've also seen a shift in what defensive linemen look like in the NFL. That we don't have a ton of beefy big guys playing D tackle anymore. Like the outside linebackers are more. The defensive ends are more so outside linebacker hybrids, where they can be anywhere between 230 to 270 pounds, right? And so like, if you're 230 running up on Derrick Henry and you ain't got no pop with you, like he's. And again, like I said, the falling forward aspect. Like I don't see him get knocked back a lot, and so that's why I say game changer, because we've seen it in the playoffs. We've seen it outside the playoffs, like when Derrick Henry's on the field and when he's not. Like we've seen the difference in the game. He changes the game, and so that's just my thoughts. But speaking of changing the game, the USFL has just started. Does this change the game for the NFL? I mean, we're talking about people saying, a developmental league and everything like that. You also got the XFL getting ready to launch and different things like that. Like, is this idea of a developmental league sustainable? Is it viable? What are your thoughts on the first weekend of this USFL? If you were able to tune in, Coach, I'll start with you.
All right, so you know how in college football we have what is known as the varsity, the Division I athletes, right? Then we have what everyone knows as the practice squad guys. Everything is cool. We all know where we're at. We know who's better, who's not. Then we have something called recreation, where everyone gets to build their own team and play around and compete to see who's the best. The USFL reminds me more of recreation. Can it be a developmental league? Depending on how it runs the next 2 years, yeah, maybe. Maybe the XFL might take that spot. But as of right now, I'm sorry. There's no reason why we should be out there seeing T.O. catch touchdown passes on a Saturday. Like, you're 50 years old.
STF, chill.
Come on, man. Come on. I'm sorry. And then we had Jeff Fisher giving advice to Jason Garrett on how to lead a team. Is this really what we're talking about here? This is the news that we need to speak of? I'm sorry, I can't. Listen, I like the idea of it. It does seem like it's fun for fans. That's why I say I like the idea of a recreation. Just people get to have like certain people that we know is good, or college players that might not have worked out in the NFL. We get to see what could have been with them. It's nice for the time being, but
not really what could have been, because the level of competition ain't still as.
Listen, it's the
I
way.
did like
He wasn't anything in the NFL. He wasn't anything in the AAF. Trent Richardson was still not anything in one of these spring leagues. So it's just
Trent.
He
had such a I really thought he was.
I wanted him to come to us. I was like, "Ooh, Trent Richardson, that'd be nice." And then he ended up. And I'm like, he started to be good.
He didn't have a bad first 2 years. Let's
He started off so good. I'm like, yes, let's go.
He didn't have a bad first 2 years, but I mean, and it's Cleveland. It was Cleveland, So, but yeah, Trent, good administration. Deontay, what are your thoughts? USFL.
Okay. So I got a lot of thoughts on spring football, but I won't say all of them.
Okay.
Because I'll talk about the USFL, now I'll talk about you saying the feeder system thing. Right? So the USFL, I mean, the first game was fun. The fans packed out the stadium. It was nice. The second day, there were rain delays and things like that. Then the Monday night game, there was nobody there. When they're literally their only shot at having a superstar in the league was playing, nobody watched on Monday night. Nobody. Right? Jordan Teyamu was playing on Monday night and nobody watched. And he is their only shot at being anything. But that's all. Like, the first game was fun. They need to take the chips out the ball so that they can actually kick them and throw them, and stop cutting players because they wanted pizza.
Bruh.
Now,
bruh.
Now,
for those of you who don't know, the player was allegedly cut for ordering pizza. Wouldn't order pizza as opposed to, what was it?
Chicken salad, bro.
Chicken salad.
I ain't never had no chicken salad.
It's like, all right,
say, man.
What? Domino's, you're cut. I would cut you more than Domino's. I might do it.
That's right there, man. That's right business.
And that's no shade to Domino's. No shade to Domino's. Just, but anyway, continue.
But all right. So I think there needs to be spring football. I think so. But I think the only way it can last is if they if they completely separate themselves from the NFL. Don't try to compete. Don't try to be a feeder system. Don't test new rules. Don't be a place for coaches to go get experience. Don't let the refs come practice in your league. Don't even use NFL rules. Like, just completely separate yourself from the NFL. For one reason, if you are a feeder system to the NFL, your league will not last, because without players staying and building a fan base for the teams, nobody's going to watch. I do not care what the Blazers are doing. I don't. You got to have a player that makes people want to watch. You have to have a player that makes people want to support your team. If you have a player one season that snaps and then next season he's on some NFL team's practice squad, why would I come watch your team again? He's not there. So I just feel like that. Like, the NFL, if you go to the USFL, you're blessed. Like, congratulations. This is not your stepping stone to get to the NFL. You 33. All right, you ain't going back. So just leave it alone. Play your USFL, play as well as you can, and do your thing. These leagues need to innovate. When the XFL had all the players mic'd up, they were getting interviewed on the sideline. People loved that. The XFL's extra point rules, people loved them. Their kickoff, people liked it. It was weird, but people liked it. The extra point, people loved it. We don't want to see the ball getting kicked. I'm sorry, some do. 50, 60 yards, I do. I don't want to see a 33-yard field goal. I sure don't. Boo. Boo. And I have hard feelings with 33, 32-yard field goals from the left hash that stopped us from, going to the Super Bowl. But I'll leave that alone.
Why would you bring that up, yo?
Bro, I can't let it go. I can't let it go. But oh man, ow, it hurt my feelings.
I'm not
Okay,
relive that pain, man.
that's how I feel. But
understood.
But yeah, the XFL, when the XFL comes back, I really hope they keep all their original rules that they had and they rock out. I think the USFL is doing their league a disservice by having all of the games being played in one place. All their games are being played in Alabama. I think Birmingham, yeah. All their games are being played in Birmingham. So you buy one ticket, you can come to 2 days of games. But if that first game stink, I ain't coming tomorrow. And that's what you saw this weekend. Like, that first game was packed. That second, third, fourth game, by the fourth game, it looked like the Rona season, bro. And it was just, can't have it. So with these leagues, I need them to innovate, have their own thing. Make your league all hurry up. No huddles. Whole game be no huddle. So that we don't gotta wait for nothing. We just be entertained. All huddles, no running plays. Just throw the ball. Just throw the ball.
That's different, coach.
Gotta be different. You cannot be the NFL. You can't be anything like the NFL because people are just gonna compare you to the NFL. So people just be like, I ain't watching this. This corny.
Makes sense. Coach, what are your thoughts?
So you know why the CFL still is running now, still is a good league to have people go there? Because it made it its own.
Mm-hmm.
It made it its own. It found a fan bases that had guys wanting to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
If the USFL can do that and the XFL do that, which I think the XFL could.
The XFL will.
I can agree. I can fully agree in saying that would be our best developmental league because you would have guys coming in there that are veterans that's not going to be in the NFL anymore. We already know that. That's why you're there. But then some guys, let's say like a Jimmer Ferret in basketball, he went to the league, didn't pan out all of that well, but went to this league and balled out. Jimmer Ferret Jimmer Ferret was in the NBA.
For that.
Went over to Asia. He's like God over there.
It don't make no sense. I'm like, if you can shoot, you can shoot. and he was broke in the NBA. I'm like, what happened?
When he left his shot he got the guy shot again, and that's what happened. And I think
just disappeared. I'm like, wait a second.
That would be great for some of these young guys with issues and things like that coming out of college leagues. And it's just allowing more access to football for all of these guys. Yeah, I think it's maybe 4,500 players in the NFL at max. How many college players are coming out yearly? How many veterans are still out there yearly? These guys have all of this talent and nowhere to show it. Why not make somewhere to show it?
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Don't try to compete. Just do your thing, man. Just be who you are. I don't like a developmental league for the NFL in the first place because, again, it's a different level of competition at those levels. So it's just like at the NFL level, in the USFL, if you're playing in the USFL, the XFL, and you're balling, you can get to the NFL and never see the field.
Never.
Because it's a completely different level. In the USFL, you're playing against a 47,000-year-old Terrell Owens. In the NFL, you're playing against a prime 28-year-old 4.3 running Tyreek Hill. Like, it's a little bit different. So, yeah, I agree 100%. Speaking of the USFL and XFL, what's next for Baker Mayfield? We know he's requested a trade. We know that Deshaun Watson is now the franchise quarterback for the foreseeable future for the Cleveland Brownies. What's next for Baker? Deontay.
What's next for Baker? He gonna be playing flag with Brett Favre.
Oh my God.
I'm tired of him. Like, I've never really liked Baker Mayfield, so I understand my answer might sound quite biased. But Baker Mayfield has a history of running from competition, and I don't like it. I really don't. He did it in college, got hurt, felt like he should have got his spot back when he first came back, didn't, so he transferred, won the Heisman, and people gonna be like, oh, he made it through so much adversity. No, he didn't. He ran from he ran from competition. And then he went to the NFL, was supposed to sit because he should have. Then that's
lost the competition.
Right. He lost the competition, got all mad and pouty about it, came in, played well, second year, did not. Since then, has not. Now he all of a sudden, his team wants to go fix the quarterback position, give him some competition, which could make you focus in and stop making all these commercials when you should be training because you get fat. Baker Mayfield has a tendency of getting fat, so he needs to be working out. He needs to be getting some kind of chemistry with his receivers because he can't hit them. He could only throw the ball to Donovan Peoples-Jones. He's the only person he could throw the ball to. But Baker,
he's the biggest receiver.
He just wants everything to go his way. He's a big crybaby, and I don't like it. Like, what's next for Baker? Go watch Deshaun Watson play and prepare as if you are going to get in the game. Be a good sport, support your team. Because the Browns said they ain't going to trade him. And I hope that for once, an NFL team that says, I ain't trading you, doesn't trade somebody. Because I think that'd be funny. I think that'd be hilarious. Baker Mayfield, oh, you want Deshaun? Trade me. And the NFL, and then his team be like, nah. Go sit down. Go sit down.
Okay, Coach, what are your thoughts?
One, that would be hilarious to see happen. It's not going to happen, but it would be hilarious to see it happen. The NFL team stick to its word. Have you seen that often? I haven't. But yeah, we already know Baker Mayfield's gone. He's not there for Cleveland. Cleveland's not there for him. He needs to get out of there. I don't think he gets actually traded until a major injury happens in training camp or some team gets desperate. They'll probably give him a high second rounder for it just because he's a first round pick. He has started many games and has one playoff game on his resume. Yes, it's not mostly him, but because of it being on his resume, it's going to look even better. Plus, because of the fact he's still pretty young, still has time to develop. If you have the team around him, you see he can somewhat produce as a reliable quarterback. I really think if Seattle does not go and get their quarterback that they want, or go get a quarterback they're confident in closer to training camp, they trade for Baker. Or, and I hate this one because I really want him to get another shot fully, even though he was hurt and didn't do well down the stretch last year.
Tyrod.
Sam Darnold.
Oh, okay.
I think Baker Mayfield might go to the Panthers. We already see what they're doing with their quarterback position. They're trying to load up and find anyone that was a first-round pick or can be a first-round pick. Get them in there and see if they work out. They have a team around them to actually do something. But they're a quarterback away.
And Baker Mayfield ain't that quarterback. That's all I'm saying.
Nope, not at all. But hey,
I'm
that's what they want to do.
I'm taking Sam Darnold for Baker Mayfield. Here's what's next for Baker Mayfield, or what should be next for Baker Mayfield. I don't know how much you got left on your contract. Take that in. Get your money. Retire and go to the USFL or the XFL. Ball out. Build that league. You'll be a legend in either of those leagues forever. You'll be like, oh, snap. And you can be the person to say, I made the USFL. I made the XFL. I made this thing popping, yada, yada, yada. You can have all these records, all these different things. You could be a multi-millionaire out there. You could be the catalyst that brings the contracts and the TV deals and stuff like that. Because you are Baker Mayfield, and you are somebody that people be like, I mean, you're polarizing. You know what I'm saying? Go and get your bread, man.
So you want Baker Mayfield to be what Johnny Manziel tried to be after he flamed out?
Johnny Manziel is booty. I'm sorry. He always has been. He always will be. He was never good.
You want Baker Mayfield to go and try to do what Johnny couldn't do after he flamed out?
Yes, absolutely, because that's the thing. He still got the flame. Johnny never had it. Johnny was trash truck juice the entire time. Nobody wanted to listen. I kept trying to say it. I wasn't the only one screaming it. It was plenty other people saying, but he was polarizing, and that's the reason that people were like, oh, we got to bring him in. Oh, he's athletic. Oh, he's this. Oh, he's that. He was absolutely fun. He could not throw a rock into a pond. He was garbage. Garbage. He was horrible. I could not say it. I could not say it.
Got 7. I'm sorry. 8,000 yard seasons already.
He was all frail. I feel like, you know what I mean? All right, that's enough for the Johnny Manziel because I'm about to. Anyway, that's the Air It Out podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for joining in today. Truly appreciate it. You know, we had a good show. So I'm trying to reel myself back in because y'all got me fired up on these Johnny Manziel stuff. But anyway, follow us on all the social media platforms. That's Instagram and Inside the Hashes, Facebook Inside the Hashes, Twitter Inside Hashes, and don't forget to check out the website www.insidethehashes.com. Get all of your football content, interviews, podcasts, blogs, all of that stuff. www.insidethehashes.com, and don't forget to go to YouTube. Subscribe, hit that like button, and then turn on the notification button so you know when we go live. We would like to get your comments in here live on the show. And if you don't get them in live, you can still go in and watch afterwards and put your comments in, and we will definitely see those as well. For Coach, for Deontay, let's go. I love it. Give Kaepernick a job. My name is Avery Collins. This is the Air It Out podcast. And before we go,
no, can we talk about this Kaepernick thing right here? Like, can we get Kaepernick out for Baker to get the job?
I just want Matt Ryan to not pat the ball. If he stops patting the ball, he might be okay in Indy. That's all I'm saying. He just got to stop.